Hi, everyone. It's Shannon Port, and I welcome you today to our podcast. I'm coming to you live today on March 21st, and we're live streaming on YouTube. And oh, good. It looks like there are some people here, and it's so good to be here. So happy equinox season. We officially had the spring and the autumn equinox on March 20th yesterday, but we are definitely in the window. Hello, hello. And it's a powerful, powerful energy. And as you may have seen the title, today, we're going to talk about healing relationships, and we will do that by looking at the energies of equinox and the true meaning of equinox. We will look at the energies of the upcoming Libra full moon happening on March 28th. And we will also look at, there's a very, very powerful energy of Venus conjunct the sun happening on March 26th. And so all of these are very, very loaded archetypal teachings on how we can truly, especially with the Aries Libra axis, understand what I often call divine synthesis. It's the healing and the work we do with balancing the forces of nature as we balance them in our own consciousness, and as we balance them with the privilege and the opportunity of having human relationships, relationship with nature, with Gaia, a relationship with our animal friends, and our relationship with the elements. We're going to talk a lot about the sun. And so now we have the sun in Aries represents the beginning of the astrological year. And so this is, first of all, so let's look at, we'll start with equinox because this energy kicked off yesterday, but we're in the energy, and I always feel like the Libra full moon really, and the Aries new moon really bring in the energies of the equinox. And so let's talk about the equinox. The equinox is a time, the beginning of this year is a time when we are on both the biological level, our biorhythms and the biorhythm of the earth is stimulated by the light of the sun penetrating into the dark womb and beginning to vibrate the seeds that we have buried within us. And so the reason we look at the journey of the sun through the ecliptic, and we follow the path of the sun in the north when we're looking at the archetypal wisdom, because we look at the nodes of the earth, and the north represents our ascending force. It's not to make light of anything that's happening in the southern hemisphere, not at all, because they're working together in synthesis and experiencing the balance that we're talking about. This is what I want to say to start the video. I want to say, so nice to see you. I get so excited. So when you think about the light coming to the planet, so I'm in the north. And so this time of year, and I'm going to look at something I wrote yesterday on Instagram, and I'm on Instagram at Art of the Feminine. If you want to come join us over there, what happens is that the sun brings in the light, and that light begins to penetrate into the earth's crust, and all the seeds and all the roots that are underground, holding the energy during the long winter, begin to start to pulse. They pulse with the feeling of divine love. And so the reason I wanted to talk about healing relationships is because we're looking at the most powerful relationship that we have in creation, the energy of the sun and the earth, spirit and matter. And so this relationship is also happening in our own consciousness. And so when we begin to, the reason we look at wisdom and the reason we work with the wisdom of Gaia is because it shows us, it's a mirror to us of everything that we need to know. We can see when we look at the planet that we're in 3D and that we have the forces of nature, and there are very violent forces and there are very, very friendly and forces. And then there are the harmonious forces that do the balance. Equinox is a time where we focus our energy on that balance. And so, what I want to say, oh, I was just looking, I just was connecting with you on Instagram yesterday. So, what I would like to say is that the light to the planet, the light touching the planet and stimulating the darkness, is the very same as our human love touching another soul. The light of the sun awakens the seeds buried in earth. And the sun also awakens it starts to vibrate our soul energy. And so the light we're talking about is above the light and dark polarity. The light and dark polarity are equal in their divinity. We need light, we need dark. They're both a superpower. When we're talking about spiritual light, we're talking about divine love, which is the great balancing factor. And so when the light penetrates the earth, everything gets happy. The birds start to sing. The bunnies begin to give birth. Mating season is on. And yes, and I have a male teenager in the house. So it's always fun to see. That time of year, it makes us all begin to notice everything and to feel that impulse to merge and to give birth. And so when we love each other, we are giving each other divine love, divine light, and divine strength and power to open up and to be who we truly are. And so I'm working, the women I'm working with right now are talking a lot about power. It takes a certain amount of sovereignty and power to be able to give love. Being able to love is actually a superpower, and especially in the world we live in, because there's so much coming at us and so much trying to kind of degrade that frequency with the more superficial levels of that, of love and desire, that it's existing on the level that keeps us more trapped in the very small region of the spectrum of experience. But what happens is divine love opens up the whole spectrum and gives us our power so that we're able to draw from all of the emanations. And so we really, really, at this time, I want to say something that's pretty deep, and I don't mean to go heavy with it, but what's happening, if you look at, and I watched a lot of news last week. I want to watch everything. I watch this side, that side, the alternative side. I look at all of it. What's happening right now on the planet at the end of this cycle is that there's a degeneration of the old. It's breaking down, and it's starting to sound delirious and insane, and with all respect to everyone on this human journey, the way that we're fighting each other and attacking each other and just saying the same things over and over and over is disconnected from the light that we're speaking of here. You have to be plugged into that energy to open the heart and be able to create synthesis. Without that higher wisdom and higher knowledge, we're futile. It's just going in a circle. It's on the wheel, as we say, it's on the astrological zodiac, and it's stuck in the lower kingdom. And so healing, when we taste that love in our own life, and when we taste the love that exists within us, we become the power of the word magnified on the planet, because what we carry now is able to vision the truth. And so right now we have the sun in Aries, which is, the sun is exalted in the sign Aries and will be conjunct Venus on March 26th, which is a powerful, powerful influence for healing love and for healing desire. But also the sun is more powerful than Venus. When the sun is in Aries, Aries is the sign of the sun. So the sun is actually carrying more power than Venus at this conjunction. And so Venus is bowing to the sun. Venus, who holds the energy, she rules Libra. She rules the full moon. That represents healing relationships. She's bowing to her solar partner and the Christ force as represented in that masculine energy, um, and saying, I bow to receive your light. And the light is knowledge. It's a gnosis. It's a knowledge of the truth so that I can hold space for sacred love and for sacred friendship and for sacred creativity and art through the sign of Libra, so that I can hold the truth for the planet through this divine alchemy. And so that's a lot. That's really coming in powerful. But what I want you to know is that your love, when we love another, we're like the sun shining on their inner truth and their inner seeds. And whenever we really, really give true love, it's been purified, meaning it's not coming with an agenda. It's not trying to manipulate, but it's true love. And true love, remember, you could say it's vulnerable, but it's vulnerable in the sense that it opens. Vulnerability doesn't mean weakness. Vulnerability means opening. And opening is actually power in certain circumstances. So when we give that kind of love, we open. And when we open, we receive. And so the reason that we want to learn to love from power is because we have nothing to prove then. Because everything is win-win. Everything is Libra. That when we think of justice and we think of 1-1, we're mirroring each other. And so what we give will always come back to us. Sometimes that love can trigger, it can trigger a response, because sometimes when that love touches something that's like burned by it, it doesn't want to see it, but that's okay. If you're at the place where you can love from this frequency, you would never get burned. You would actually, it would strengthen you. So when you get, this is deep, but when you give that kind of love and it comes back as an attack because it wasn't, first of all, most likely you won't be giving it because wisdom will guide you where to give it. But if it does come back, you instantly transmute and it strengthens you and makes you stronger and makes you a greater light. So what's happening right now with all of this energy, the equinox, the Aries conjunct the sun, all of this is bringing in the signal, the cosmic signal, that it's time for us to awaken our power so we can really love. When we really love, life truly becomes bliss, and it's awakening it through friendship, through our relationship with Gaia, with the planet, and through also deep, deep love relationships, and also healing sexuality. So, all right. So, let me know where you're tuning in from. I'm going to take a quick peek down. Nice to see you. All right. And feel free to put your comments. I would love, if you have anything you want to throw in that we can look at, we will. So I'm going to just go over a little bit of what I wrote yesterday and see if there's anything that we want to pull from it, looking at the equinox energies, and then we'll go right into the Libra full moon. So it's the start of the astrological new year, and it represents the beginning of the power of the light to stimulate our consciousness at the core level, beneath the earth, so hidden deep, deep in the dark womb where everything is dormant, and to activate our cellular memory and our creative healing power. So this is really important. It's about healing. This time of year is the most potent for healing. We can, nice to see you in Croatia. We can, nice to see you in Canada. I didn't know you were in Canada. So we can harness the energy of this divine light, and we use it for healing. So this time of year, and in the south, you can also in the southern hemisphere, you can also tap into it, because this is planetary consciousness, but you're also tapping into another energy, and we're balancing each other. But I say this for you as well. This is a time of year, the Aries equinox, when you can begin to align with a new healing journey. So I want everybody right now to just think about if there's anything that you would like to heal, even physical wounds, because all of our anything that's physical, there's a metaphysical correspondent to it in our dark region, in the underbelly, where we hide certain thoughts and patterns from ourselves, and that can be moved and thawed out right now by the sun. And so anything that you would like to heal right now, let's do I am in the 7 directions. We'll call it in, and we'll put that thing that you would like to heal in the Star of David. So the Star of David actually represents this synthesis, and it represents the union of spirit and matter. And so when we do I am in the seven directions, that's what we're really calling. We're calling in the divine sacred fire, and we're putting it on the altar of our heart, and we're giving whatever we need to. Whenever we show up with humility and grace and forgiveness, and we just bow to the inner master. It's in the same way in the guru traditions, you bow at the guru's feet and give it to them. That's a metaphor. That's an archetype for bowing to your inner truth and spirit. So we all have an inner teacher, an arahant or a sadguru, and we bow to that energy and say, I humble myself before you. It's our Christic force, and I give you whatever is not needed any longer, and I give it to the light to be thawed. And to, as I wrote in this is a time when we can catch the tremendous momentum of the divine currents and magnetism of the sun to transmute what we're doing right now, our challenges, and release the energy that has been held captive, been trapped by doubt, fears, and distortions of our reality. And so just repeating after me. So that's what we're going to give our, whatever you would like to heal right now. This is our ritual for this video. Just place it on the altar, and then seeing the sun emanate from your heart and connecting with the divine light above that's coming into the planet. I am before me. I am behind me. I am at my left. I am at my right. I am above me. I am below me. I am unto me. And taking a deep, deep breath in. As you breathe all the way in, just hold it for a moment, suspend it, and in that vortex of energy whirling within you, this great flame, put that thing you're giving up into the flame. Let it transmute into love, and then exhale it all out. And we'll call in divine love for all humanity by activating all three levels of our consciousness, saying, I am, I know I am, I am, I know I am, I am. This is the light of Aries, and the sun is in Aries right now, and it will be opposite the full moon in Libra. And the sun is also in the sign Aries conjunct Venus this week on the 26th of March. And so what that means is that the I am is the ruler. And so we have to have the strength and the power to recognize the truth. That's what we call being illuminated or enlightened. It's not denial on any level. It's understanding what true power is and where it sources from. The world is sourcing a power from the archontic force and from the desire force that is all of these powered up energies, still the forces of nature, but they've lost their attachment to the divine part. You could call it the higher self of humanity and the higher self of the world soul. And so it's not that we might call it ignorance, but it's not, but ignorance means just blinded and not quite yet seeing the knowledge. Now, I was talking to one of the girls in my mentorship yesterday. We were talking about the veil of Venus, and she said, what is the veil of Venus? And it just came through. It's the ignorance of true love. And so when we know love, the whole world is going to change. Oh, it's going to change but we can have it now in our own. There's so many people that I work with and that I connect with regularly, so many beautiful souls that are vibrating at that level and that are deep, deep, wise souls. This is not this just because you vibrate with divine love does not mean that anything goes and that you excuse anything. In fact, everything. In fact, it means that the power of your true vision is actually a transmuting force of all that needs to raise itself up right now. So that being said, the dark womb of the mother is as powerful as the sun. And so I want to be very careful when we're talking a lot about light and dark right now. We all know that the light and dark need each other. But what we're calling in here is what's called spiritual light or synthesis of these two. It's called sacred union. And so I just want to say I wish all of you just a beautiful, beautiful energy to come in. I felt that little ritual we always do, and it was really powerful. So if anybody has any questions or anything you want to say, let's see, Brazil, and then we'll go into the moon. Toronto, happy equinox, universal communication, yes. Okay. And I know you are are you in Germany? You're in Germany? Or no, you're in London. That's right. Okay. All right. So that being said, let's take a peek at so what we're seeing in the world right now is a lot of projection. And so when you look at the news, everybody wants to accuse everybody of everything. If you look at this side, they're all accusing this side of these things. And if you look at this side, they're all accusing these people of this. There is a constant fight that will never be resolved because nobody's going to give in. What's happening now is in the cycle is everything's breaking down. So our arrogance and our refusal to open our hearts to a higher understanding is going to destroy us. And the destruction comes as a means of waking people up. So at the end, it always happens that as we get closer to a global awakening, more and more things appear to be going in the wrong direction. And the reason is because it's not until when we're on the path of the human ego and we're trying to learn, which is part of the path, it's a sacred, sacred part of the path. We hit the wall over and over until we're like, wow, I get it. It's time. I've thrown my punches. I've given it my best shot. I've ascended the corporate ladder. I'm wealthy. I have everything I want, but I can't get enough. Now I have to go into the regions of the, it's like once you have everything in the real world, what happens is people start seeking in the underworld areas because this world can no longer satiate. So now that's why we have so many really negative things happening in the world right now because there's a craving for more. There's a craving to fill that spot that can't be filled with material things. It can only be filled by knowing who we are. That's the only thing, and experiencing, that's the only thing that can fill it. This love is the highest currency. It's worth more than anything. I just saw a list of the top billionaires on the planet. It's so crazy to see how much and to see how much they made in this past year. It's crazy. And some of them are custodians and I want to be clear that when we come into the world, there is a divine plan happening. And there's certain lifetimes where it might look like somebody's not awake, but they're being guided. And certain people are custodians of the wealth on the planet, some on the negative side and some on the positive side. So not everybody who has material wealth is disconnected from spirit. So I want to be really clear about that. We're all meant to seek to be able to work with the powers so that we can have what we need to support our journey. But right now, that outer journey is it's being really, really activated. And so let me just see. What I saw when I saw, well, what's happening is that, and this is the goddess report. So I'm going to be doing a goddess report for April. I'll do that next Sunday. The goddess says, I've been starting to write this one already, that there's some misguided ideas about how to move forward that are disconnected from the divine feminine wisdom. And so what we're seeing is a move more towards the the AI world and the inorganic, that does not access this energy that we're talking about. In fact, it bypasses it and replaces it with something else. And this is not, we won't go too deep into that right now, but that is what we are being challenged to do right now. When your heart has been activated and when you're working with a divine synthesis, you will know what holds the highest value and truth. And so that direction is actually bringing on a greater and greater depression for more people and a disconnect from the organic world. So that being said, I just want to say this. Let's look at relationships, and then we'll look at the Libra full moon energies. Relationships are about connection. They have to activate the heart. We have a lot of relationships on social media. However, it's a different level of accountability. When you're on social media with someone, you can see them when you want to, you can unfriend them when you want to, you can block them when you want to, you can like something and hate something, you can like the person and hate the person all within the same day, and that can happen in the real world too. But there's less accountability. It's happening in the subconscious realms. When we have real relationships, love relationships are the primary example, we're held to accountability. We have to, for what we give out, we have to get back. If we put out a lot of shadow energy, our partner is going to mirror that to us. And even though it might feel like they're attacking us, it will come at us and come at us and come at us until we can integrate that energy, like the master. When the master is being attacked, the master already knows that holds that light. That attack can no longer hurt. You immediately transmute it. You gain more light and wisdom, and you know either to step aside and walk away, but it's always without harm. There may be a word spoken, but that word is coming straight from a force that will uplift everybody and bring healing. And there's many more things we could say around that. But when we're in love relationship, when we integrate, when we do that work, we get wiser and wiser, and our capacity to hold true love and be a chalice and a container for divine love only gets more and more. And we all have this capacity, and we are all really the same in that way. Relationships also can create a divine container. It's an alchemical container, and so we can't run away from it. And in fact, when it's a real holy sacred relationship, the universe will hold us in it. There's times when you might be trying to get out of something, but you just can't seem to do it. Sometimes it's because there's a wound, sometimes there's a manipulation, but even so, that container is always being overseen by a higher force, and we will remain in it until we are either able to have gained enough wisdom to walk away, or to keep going and to go at a higher level. And most of the time in this world, we walk away before we've even started the work. That's the drama and the sadness in this world, that this has become a pleasure-based world, and everything is based on the appetites that we're talking about, that are not connected to true vision. And so we're healing relationships. And it's a big part of what we're doing right now. It's a big part of the work that I teach, and I can't even begin to say how sacred it is. Once we've been through a certain alchemy, we know it. And once we know it, it's like gold. We've turned the lead into gold, and we can teach it because it's meant to spread. And so it's one reason that those who can and really hold that space right now are so valuable on the planet right now, because it heals everything. It's going to heal everything. So it's an archetype. So let's see here what else I wrote down, and then we'll look at the planets. Don't let it bring you down right now. Yesterday in the last video I did, I was saying, don't worry about the world. It's all good. And then I was watching a lot of news, and I was like, wow, it really is. It's pretty harsh out there right now. And if you get caught in that sound frequency, you'll get pulled right into it. I like to watch it because I like to know. I'm not one of those, even though I do have a lot of time on the inner plane, I like to see what's happening on the ground and really see all the forces at work. And so I watch everything, and then I have to stand back from it. But It is pretty intense, and you can see the ego hardening. It turns into this hard archontic shell and just is beaming the same message over and over. And on that level, there is a war happening right now. But remember, we're all sovereign. We're all meant to create our own sphere in our own world and let it ripple out, let it emanate out from us. All right. We're each responsible for that. And when we become healers, we give people a little help. We help people, so we hold their hand and help them step onto the platform, but we never can do anything for anybody else because that's just not possible. But we become a way shower and a guide. All right, let's see if there's anything else I want to say. It's a powerful time. Oh, I have a really beautiful quote. I want to read. So this was shared by my friend Hugo, who's an astrologer, and I've shared this quote over the years. But I want to say this quote because it's really powerful, and it really has to do with where we're at right now. So this is from Barbara Marciniak. Everything changes when you start to emit your own frequency rather than absorbing the frequencies around you. When you start imprinting your intent on the universe rather than receiving an imprint from existence. Barbara Marciniak. That's such a great quote. When we emit our divine frequency, and then that is our sovereign shield of truth in the auric field. When we do the Star of David, we're activating it's our divine shield. And when we activate that, we vow to see with our power rather than to keep being like beamed at, because that will only break down our health, break down our life, break down our relationships, and create havoc. And we need it to a certain point, but then life gets fun. This is different than the false kind of everything's good and I'm not going to see what's going on. This is very, very different. This has to do with the synthesis. And once we've done that, we're carriers of great healing power. So everything changes when you start to emit your own frequency rather than absorb the frequencies around you. Now, we do have to be absorbent to certain energies. Love is about being able to receive, but we filter out the energies and only receive the energies that we're meant to receive. Each one of us is meant to receive a certain signal. We have to have enough power to receive that signal. Okay, I'm just going to take a look down. You guys are kind of quiet. We'll start to close out, but let's look at the planets where they are at the Libra full moon. Do I even have them? Yes, I do. Okay, so we're going to have, no, I don't have it here, but I memorize them. So Mars will be conjunct the North Node. That's a lot of energy happening at the Libra full moon. First of all, the sun is going to be still conjunct Venus, opposite the moon. The moon will be in Libra, holding all these energies of balance, and the sun will be in Aries, represent the power of I am, and this power that we're talking about. It will be just 2 days after the star point, which is the conjunction of the sun and Venus in Aries. So we will also have Mercury at 19 degrees of Pisces conjunct Neptune at 21 degrees of Pisces. So let's look at these archetypes. Mercury is our mind. It's communication. It's how we speak to ourselves. And it's also rules. First of all, Gemini, the North Node is in Gemini right now. So Mercury is governing the whole world right now. Information and how we receive that is the energy the archetype we live in right now. And also 2021 is a 5, and 5 is the number of Mercury. A lot of mercurial energy happening. So the mind is really fast and really susceptible to being programmed. So what you want to do is understand that Neptune is the ruler of Pisces, and it's spirituality. It's the great reservoir. It's the dark womb of the mother with all the creative healing power. But it also holds the deeper level of all the deception and the unresolved underbelly of humanity. So when Mercury is conjunct Neptune, and it will be in a loose square to the nodal axis, It means that one of two things can happen. There can either be a lot of murky, deceptive communication happening in the world, which very much is likely at this time, or we can use that energy to go into deep meditation. Meditation is key in the age of Aquarius, and understand from the silence. This, I'm just thinking about the work we just did this week in at the Light Body Woman mentorship. We did a lot of activations, and we did this a lot, going into the silence and allowing the revelations of truth for us to come up. And it takes a commitment. What happens is, this is the thing I want to leave you with. When we get trapped in a lot of outer noise, it's very hard to go in and receive. Your inner reservoir is your divine wealth, and you have to tend to it. You have to know how to get there. That is where the silence of the Great Mother will speak to you and give to you and heal you. And she is also, she birthed the very light that we're talking about. So the great, great absolute gave birth to the I am and to the Logos, but she births it, and then she becomes the receiver of it. So she plays both parts. She gives birth and then receives. And so with that, we'll begin to close out. I'm just going to take a peek down and say if anybody has anything to say. I know we're on early today for a Sunday. Does anybody want to ask any questions or bring anything in before we close out? We're at 6 minutes, so we're pretty good for time. Oh, everyone's so quiet. Okay, well, make sure to come back and leave in the comments anything that you experience at the time of the Libra full moon. If you have any thoughts on the Venus and Sun conjunction, I want to thank you for being here. First of all, being able to speak like this is the fulfillment of the work I do and getting to give it and have you be there. So nice to see you. So nice to see you. I'm in awe too. And we become the fulfillment of each other. And so I'm so grateful for the opportunity to even speak these words with you. And even to say I am with you is a great, great privilege. And so I'm just sending out love and blessings to each and every one of you and to the world right now. Healing to our beautiful planet and humanity as we go through this, as we step onto this ladder into the age of Aquarius and birth an entirely new reality. We send love out to everyone. And so many, many, many blessings. And I look forward to your comments. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up. That always helps it. And subscribe. I'll be back with the Goddess Report. We'll do the Goddess Report for April next Sunday. I had a few people tell me they don't get the notifications. When you subscribe, you have to hit the bell. I know everyone says that. If you're not getting notifications, maybe come back and check it. And because then we have more people on live with us when we go live. And so that being said, I bow to you many times over and over and over. And I will see you next time. Nice to see you.